You hear it everywhere, right? Everyone's talking about launching the next big AI project. But the truth is, a whole lot of them never even get off the ground. That's why today we are running through the essential pre-flight check. Think of it as a feasibility study to make absolutely sure your AI mission is ready for launch before you pour in your time, your money, and your team's energy. So let's just get real for a second. For all the excitement, a staggering number of AI initiatives just fizzle out. They get stuck in development, they blow past their budgets, or they just flat out fail to deliver. And you want to know the number one reason? It's because they skip the crucial groundwork. It's kind of like trying to build a rocket with no blueprint, no fuel, and no launch pad. It's a recipe for disaster. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to walk through a 5-point pre-flight check. We'll start with the blueprint, then we'll talk about the fuel, the launch pad, the flight crew, and finally, the most important part, the mission itself. Okay, first things first, the blueprint. This is all about the technical side of things. Before we even think about writing a single line of code, we have to ask a really fundamental question. Can AI even solve this problem in the first place? Is it technically possible? And this check gets super practical really fast. You gotta ask, does your problem actually fit a known AI pattern, like classification or natural language processing? Or are you trying to invent something totally new from scratch? Then you have to get real about the risks. What level of accuracy is good enough? How fast does this thing need to run? Come on, a fraud detection model that's 90% accurate but takes 2 days to give you an answer? That's not useful to anyone, is it? All right, so let's say your technical blueprint looks solid. Now we need the single most important ingredient for any AI mission. We need the fuel. And in the world of AI, that fuel is one thing, and one thing only, data. And seriously, you just can't overstate this. You could have the most brilliant algorithm on the planet and the most powerful supercomputers money can buy, but without enough high-quality data, your model has absolutely nothing to learn from. It's like putting a pilot in a cockpit with an empty fuel tank and wishing them good luck on a trip to the moon. It's just not going to happen. So the next critical step is to really assess your data readiness. You've got to take inventory of everything you have. Check it for completeness. Things like missing values or duplicate records can totally poison your results. And here's a big one. You have to confirm you actually have the rights to use the data. Privacy policies and data governance aren't just details. They can be absolute showstoppers. And this chart here, it really shows you the usual suspects that can sabotage your project before it even starts. Inaccurate labels are a huge one. That's basically teaching your model all the wrong lessons on purpose. Imbalanced categories are also super sneaky. If 99% of your data is in one category, your model might just learn to always guess that one, making you think it's really accurate when it's not. All right, so you've got a solid blueprint and a full tank of high-quality fuel. Awesome. Now we need the launch pad. We're talking about the infrastructure, the raw computing power, and of course, the budget to actually make this thing fly. Let's be honest, AI models, especially the big ones, are notoriously power hungry. You have to be realistic about what you're getting into. Do you need specialized GPUs? Are you going to run this in the cloud, or do you need on-premise servers? And you can't just think about the cost of training the model one time. What about the long-term cost for maintenance, for storage, for running it day in and day out? This table right here makes the financial trade-off crystal clear. A traditional software solution, it usually has a pretty predictable cost. But with AI, that initial cost can be sky high, and the maintenance is way more complex and it's ongoing. It really requires a totally different kind of financial and operational commitment. So we've covered the machine, the fuel, and the launch pad. But a mission is nothing without its crew. Now we have to look in the mirror and ask the tough question. Is our organization, are our people, actually ready for this? And this quote right here, it absolutely nails it. You can go out and buy the best technology in the world, but you can't just buy the right culture or the right processes overnight. A successful AI project is just as much about organizational change as it is about algorithms. So assessing your organization's maturity is just crucial. Do you have the right mix of skills on board, from data science to ML ops? Do you have a real governance process to handle these powerful new systems? And maybe the most important question of all, is your staff actually willing to change how they work to use these new tools? Because if the team resists, the best tool in the world will just sit on a shelf and gather dust. And that brings us to our fifth and final check. And honestly, this is the big one. This is the moment of truth. We've confirmed that we can build this AI rocket. We have the tech, we have the data, but now we have to ask, should we? This comparison makes it so clear, doesn't it? AI often comes with high complexity, potentially massive costs, and low interpretability. It can be a black box where you don't really know why it made a certain decision. A simpler, more traditional solution, on the other hand, is way more predictable and a whole lot easier to explain. The most advanced tool isn't always the right tool for the job.
Sometimes a simpler solution is just plain smarter. Look, if your problem can be solved with a handful of straightforward rules, just do that. If a basic statistical model gets the job done, use it. Sometimes the best solution isn't a complex algorithm at all. It's just rethinking how a process works. And especially in fields with heavy regulations, the need to explain your decisions might make a simple, transparent model the only real choice you have.
So, there you have it. Your final go/no-go checklist before you dive headfirst into an AI project. Number 1, is the blueprint viable? 2, is the fuel tank full of good data? 3, is the launch pad secure and funded? 4, is the flight crew trained and ready? And 5, is the mission actually justified? If you can answer a clear yes to all 5 of those, then you've got a green light for liftoff. And that's the final thought I really want to leave you with. As you're sizing up your next big idea, I want you to ask yourself this one honest question. Are you reaching for AI because it's truly the most powerful, most effective tool to solve your problem, or just because it's the newest, most complicated, and most exciting one? The entire future of your mission really depends on that answer.